is lawyer Brian Snyder, who you actually do represent a lot of these negligent security cases, so you work a lot with them. Tell me, if you are in a big crowd, what is the #1 thing people need to be aware of or know?
Well, unfortunately, at big events like this concert, the best thing you can do is stay away from the stage. What we know is that the closer you get to the stage, the more likely you are to get hurt, whether it's from stage diving, crowd surfing, people just trampling. So the #1 thing to do is stay away, which sounds counterintuitive, but...
We're not talking necessarily just about big concert events, even though this can happen. There, you can be in a big crowd for a big, I don't know, a big sports game, let's say. Right. What are the tips to stay safe when you're in a big crowd like that?
The two top things are, one, make sure you stay hydrated, because if there's not sufficient hydration there, obviously you're going to get hurt. Second thing is, know where security is. Know where the exits are. Know where safety is. That's the most important thing.
Sure. And we know that the dehydration was an issue that we saw with this, but Brian, let me ask you this, and I don't know how closely you've studied this, but point blank, do you think that they were negligent at this concert?
It's hard to say without knowing all the facts, but what I can tell you is that under Arizona law, the duty and the onus is on the vendor and the promoter to keep everyone safe. They have the responsibility. They have to have security protocols and safety protocols in place, and if they didn't provide proper hydration and if they let the crowds get out of control, then they would be responsible.
Okay, and it was a pretty scary situation for a lot of people there. So let's say, unfortunately, something does happen when you're out at one of these big events. Do we have rights?
We do. Like I said, under Arizona law, the venue and the promoters are responsible. So you need to hire an attorney who's experienced in negligent security, inadequate security, to hold them accountable for their negligence. And if you're injured, you need to be compensated for that.
Okay, let me ask you this. Moving forward, what do you think needs to happen with events like this? Because this isn't the first one we've seen that happened like this, and certainly won't be the last one, especially if we factor in all the events across the nation that happen all the time. What do you think needs to happen moving forward?
Money needs to be spent for proper security. We've known since Altamont, since Woodstock, that if there's not proper security, people will get hurt. It costs money. The vendors and the promoters won't make as much on the festivals, but proper security needs to be in place, because otherwise this will keep happening. Well,
it'll be better for them in the future, right? Because they won't have to go through the courts.
That's the goal. That's the goal with the civil justice system.
Absolutely. All right, Brian Snyder, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. These are all very good tips for you to stay safe if you're going to be heading out to any of those big crowd events. A lot of them still.